Imagine a city haunted by an unseen terror, a place where the very air seems thick with dread, and the shadows themselves seem to whisper of unspeakable horrors. This is not a tale of fiction, but a grim reality that once gripped the heart of New Orleans, a place where the night holds its breath and every creak of a floorboard could signal death. The city was a labyrinth of fear, where every dark corner and every flickering light could hide a nightmare waiting to pounce. This was New Orleans in 1918, a city caught in the grip of the Axeman. The streets that once echoed with the lively sounds of jazz and laughter were now filled with the hushed whispers of terror and the heavy silence of dread. He was a shadowy figure, a phantom who vanished into the night, leaving behind a trail of blood and unanswered questions. His presence was like a dark cloud that loomed over the city, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the ever-present specter of death. The Axeman's reign of terror began in the spring of 1918 and stretched over a year, casting a long shadow over the vibrant city. His attacks were brutal and seemingly random, leaving the citizens in a state of perpetual fear and confusion. His weapon of choice was a simple axe, but the brutality of his attacks sent shockwaves through the community. Each strike was a reminder of his merciless nature, and the bloodstains he left behind were a testament to his cruelty. The Axeman became a macabre fascination, his name whispered in hushed tones from the bustling French Quarter to the quiet back streets. He was a ghost story come to life, a boogeyman who walked among them, unseen but ever present. This was not just another killer. The Axeman was different. He was a specter who seemed to thrive on the fear he instilled, a dark figure who danced on the edge of the shadows, always just out of reach. He toyed with the city, sending chilling letters to the newspapers, claiming an affinity for jazz music and promising death to those who disobeyed his bizarre demands. His letters were a twisted form of communication, a way to taunt the city and revel in the chaos he created. The citizens of New Orleans were held hostage by fear, their lives dictated by the whims of a madman. They locked their doors and windows, peering out into the night with anxious eyes, praying that they would not be the next victim of the Axeman's wrath. The city was a powder keg of tension, ready to explode at any moment, as the Axeman continued his reign of terror, leaving a permanent scar on the soul of New Orleans. The Axeman's first victims were Joseph Maggio and his wife, Catherine. They were a well-known couple in their neighborhood, running a small grocery store that was frequented by many locals. Joseph was known for his friendly demeanor, while Catherine was admired for her kindness and generosity. Their sudden and violent death sent shockwaves through the community. On the night of May 23, 1918, they were brutally murdered in their own home. The night was eerily quiet, with only the occasional sound of distant footsteps echoing through the streets. Little did anyone know a horrific crime was unfolding behind the closed doors of the neighborhood residence. The scene was gruesome. Both victims were attacked with an axe while they slept. The bedroom was left in complete disarray, with blood splattered across the walls and furniture. The sheer brutality of the attack was unlike anything the city had seen before, leaving even the most hardened detectives in a state of shock. The brutality of the attack shocked even seasoned investigators. They had seen their fair share of violent crimes, but this was different. The level of savagery displayed by the killer was beyond comprehension, leading many to believe that they were dealing with a madman. The killer had gained entry by chiseling away at a wooden panel on the back door, a method that would become his chilling signature. This meticulous approach suggested that the Axeman was not only brutal but also cunning and methodical. It was clear that he had planned the attack carefully, ensuring that he could enter the house without making a scene. This detail, combined with the seemingly random nature of the attack, fueled the growing panic in the city. People began to fear for their lives, wondering if they were the next victims. The newspapers were filled with sensational headlines, further stoking the flames of fear and uncertainty. Who was this shadowy figure, and what drove him to commit such horrific acts? The mystery surrounding the Axeman only added to the terror. Was he a deranged lunatic, or was there a more sinister motive behind his actions? The lack of answers left the city in a state of constant dread. The murders continued, each one as brutal as the last. The Axeman showed no signs of stopping, and with each new victim, the fear in the city grew. The police were at a loss, unable to predict where or when he would strike next. Louis Bassumer and his mistress Harriet Lowe were the next victims. They were attacked in a similar manner, with the Axeman breaking into their home and assaulting them with his weapon of choice. The attack left Harriet severely injured, and she would later succumb to her wounds. Then, killed by an enemy, Harrison was still a burden attack in the same fashion. The pattern was becoming clear that the motive was unsolved. Riders were the Axeman seemed to target Italian races specifically, though the reason for this remained a mystery. Some speculated that it was a form of ethnic hatred, while others believed it was a personal vendetta. The truth, however, remained hidden in the shadows. With each passing murder, the fear in New Orleans intensified, turning the once vibrant city into a ghost town after dark. People locked their doors and windows, afraid to venture out at night. The Axeman had cast a dark shadow over the city, and it seemed that no one was safe from his reign of terror. As the body count rose, the city of New Orleans found itself gripped by an ever-growing sense of dread. Each new victim added to the mounting fear, and the residents began to feel as though they were living in a nightmare from which there was no escape. The police were baffled, unable to find any concrete leads or patterns that could help them catch the elusive killer. The media, on the other hand, was having a field day, sensationalizing every gruesome detail and further fueling the public's anxiety. So too did the mystery surrounding the Axeman. The killer seemed to strike at random, with no discernible motive or method to his madness. The only thing that was certain was that he was a force to be reckoned with, a shadowy figure who could appear and disappear at will, leaving death and despair in his wake. The streets of New Orleans, once vibrant and full of life, now seemed to be cloaked in an ominous fog, with every dark alleyway and shadowy corner holding the potential for danger. However, one particular detail set him apart from other killers, a strange obsession with jazz music. This unusual quirk added an eerie twist to an already terrifying situation. Jazz, the very heartbeat of New Orleans, was now intertwined with the city's darkest fears. The Axeman's connection to this beloved genre of music was both baffling and horrifying, leaving the residents to wonder what kind of monster could find pleasure in such a beautiful art form while committing such heinous acts. This peculiar detail emerged in March 1919 when a letter, reportedly written by the Axeman himself, appeared in the local newspaper. The letter was a chilling piece of correspondence, filled with cryptic messages and sinister threats. It was as if the Axeman was toying with the city, reveling in the chaos and fear he had created. The letter quickly became the talk of the town, with everyone speculating about its authenticity and what it could mean for the future. In his chilling letter, the Axeman claimed to be a demon from the depths of hell, sent to claim souls. This declaration only added to the terror, as it painted the Axeman as something more than just a man, a supernatural entity with a thirst for blood. The letter described in vivid detail the horrors that awaited those who crossed his path, and it was clear that the Axeman took great pleasure in the fear he was instilling in the hearts of the people. However, he also expressed a strange fondness for jazz music. This bizarre juxtaposition of love for music and penchant for murder left the city in a state of confusion. How could someone who appreciated the soulful melodies of jazz also be capable of such brutality? It was a question that haunted the minds of many as they tried to reconcile these two seemingly incompatible aspects of the Axeman's personality. He declared that on a particular night he would walk the streets of New Orleans. This ominous proclamation sent shivers down the spines of the city's residents. The thought of the Axeman roaming the streets looking for his next victim was enough to keep people indoors, huddled together in fear. The city was on high alert, with everyone on edge, waiting for the night when the Axeman would make his move. On that night, any place that was filled with the sounds of jazz would be spared his wrath. This strange ultimatum left the city in a frenzy as people scrambled to ensure that they would be safe. Jazz music could be heard everywhere, from the grandest dance halls to the humblest of homes. It was as if the entire city had come together in a desperate attempt to ward off the Axeman's evil presence. This bizarre proclamation sent a ripple of fear and confusion through the city. People were unsure of what to make of it. Was it a genuine warning or just another cruel joke? The uncertainty only added to the tension as everyone tried to make sense of the Axeman's twisted mind. The city was abuzz with speculation, with every conversation Axeman had succeeded in capturing the city's attention and instilling a deep sense of fear. Either way, the citizens of New Orleans were not willing to take any chances. They took every precaution to protect themselves and their loved ones, locking their doors and staying indoors as much as possible. The city was a ghost town with people too afraid to venture out after dark. The once lively streets were now eerily quiet as the residents waited in anxious anticipation for the night the Axeman had promised to strike. On the night the Axeman declared, every dance hall, saloon, and private residence was filled with the sounds of jazz music, creating a citywide symphony of defiance against the unseen terror. The music was a beacon of hope, a way for the people of New Orleans to reclaim their city and their lives. It was a night of unity and resilience as the city came together to stand against the darkness that had threatened to consume it, creating a citywide symphony of defiance against the unseen terror. The streets, once filled with fear, now resonated with the vibrant sound of jazz, a testament to the indomitable spirit of New Orleans. The Axeman's reign of terror had brought the city to its knees, but on this night the people stood tall, united in their love for music and their determination to overcome the darkness. The city had faced its worst fears and emerged stronger, a testament to the resilience and courage of its residents. The Axeman's victims were primarily Italian grocers, a detail that fueled speculation and fear within the Italian community. Was this a personal vendetta, a targeted attack against a specific group of people? The lack of a clear motive only deepened the mystery. Joseph Maggio, the Axeman's first victim, was a well-respected grocer in the city. His wife, Catherine, was a beloved member of the community. Their murders sent shockwaves through New Orleans, particularly among Italian immigrants who had come to the city seeking a better life. As the murders continued, the fear within the Italian community grew. Many began to arm themselves, fearing they might be the next target. Some even fled their homes, leaving behind their livelihoods and everything they had hoped for. The Axeman's reign of terror had a profound impact on New Orleans, tearing at the very fabric of society and leaving a community living in fear.